Okay. All right. Well, we'll make a start, and then I'll keep letting folk in and stuff like that. I think what is really clear, we are, since the Coaches Summit, seeing so much more interest from city leaders around the world, which is great. And I think, and as well now, the proposition is really starting to get so much clearer for the 20,000 scale-ups. So,
and having the date to start, I thought it was also great.
I think it is, so those of you who weren't on the call a couple of weeks ago, the big decision was, rather than being fragmented and launching at different times, was to see how many of us could launch week commencing the 6th of June 2022. So that's the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Well, 7th is a Tuesday afternoon, 8th is a Wednesday, 9th of June is a Thursday. And if we can get that penciled in our diaries, that again gives massive leverage to a global launch. It allows us to do some significant PR, get everybody in terms of some speakers lined up as well. So it was a big shout from a couple of weeks ago. I think most of us now have got a really good feel for the proposition, but just to remind, a sweet spot of around about 5 for-profit organizations on each cohort, those that got a real ability to scale out to 100 million and beyond. So a lot of conversation now in terms of attracting, but equally people wanting to join this program. And certainly a lot of the work that we've been thinking about up in Vancouver with James Drage, and that is about, this should be really aspirational. This should be an aspirational program that organizations want to come and join. Now, it's going to take time, clearly, till we get that work through, but that's the idea. And then joining those 5 for-profit organizations is one for purpose or non-profit social venture that ultimately a global sponsor will be there to help with the funding for that. Just again, remind you, 12-month classroom learning programs. So it's much more about learning now than when we first talked about learning and coaching. So learning supported by the online learning portal, Growth Institute. So in the last 2 weeks, we've nailed down the curriculum for the online learning portal. The brochure we'll send out after this call today, but that's going to be available. So you've now got that to go with the 20,000 Scale-Ups brochure. Eugene, I think, is on the call today. Eugene Turk from the Scaling Up Scoreboard software, that's very much part of the program to really bring about focus and accountability. Anything else to add, Eugene?
No, just that we are really excited to be a part of the program. And now that we've got dates to start, this is all coming together very nicely. Thanks for all the hard work, Neil.
It's great that we are starting to get some momentum now. As you know, it's been frustrating, but entrepreneurs are about resilience, if nothing else, how to overcome these setbacks, and just makes us stronger. I think really valuable part of the proposition is what sets us apart. There's this unique opportunity to go to Harvard and the master's certificate. And I think equally, when we look at the Goldman Sachs 10,000 as well, this notion of being able to have alumni, we're obviously starting out, but in years to come, having a very strong alumni of organizations that have been through the 20,000 scale-ups, that how do we keep together and keep that community going? And then building on, again, I think from Mark's perspective, from Bill's point, we overcomplicated. Let's just make sure we've got one price point that's US 5,000 a month, no deviation on that, besides, unless you're a company like South Africa that might have a totally different economic situation, but in the large, that one price point. So that's where we're up to. I think it's a good opportunity now just to quickly go around everywhere. I know we've got Rick Drum on the call for the first time today, so very much in a learning capacity. Rick and I are going to have a separate conversation just to bring him up to speed. But I think I'm right, Rick, you met up with Vern a couple of weeks ago. You saw the proposition on the Scale-Up Coaches Summit, so keen to learn more. And you are in Connecticut, am I right saying? Just maybe come off mute for a sec.
Yeah, I am in Western Massachusetts, about 100 miles west of Boston, in between Boston and Albany, in Amherst, Massachusetts.
Very good. And I think strategically, again, what we're planning to do with Harvard, it's good to have somebody contacts not far away from there as well. So good. So Rick, I'll come back to you at the end if you've got any further questions. Don, where are you up to now in terms of New Brunswick?
Yeah, so New Brunswick and Tampa both are scheduled for the spring, actually. And the negotiations are ongoing right now with a CD or a champion, or if you want to call it that way, for New Brunswick, and also for Tampa.
Very good. Okay, so anyone concrete yet?
Yeah, we have 2 for New Brunswick and 3 for Tampa at this point in time.
Very good. And are you able to move the dates to the June date, or are you set with the spring dates now?
Well, this is the second time I move it, so unfortunately I'll ask, but I think I'll just do a second launch.
Yeah, why not? Or maybe the second quarter hits yours as well. Alrighty, Bill, where are you up to?
Dates are fine. Did you put out the rest of the dates or just the launch date, or are they intended to all align?
Well, I've updated. I'll just come off this for a second. I think.
And I have one consideration for you. If all the dates, the launch, are all the same, then somebody who's got a conflict on that date can't do like a makeup in some other place, or, you know, they've got to plan for it early. So, you know, I don't know if there's trade shows or that kind of thing. I've always thought about a program like this launching in multiple cities. If they're all on the same, if they're on a couple of different dates in the same season, then if I miss one because I've got a conflict in that time, some major thing, I could go, oh, I'm going to go to LA, or I'm going to go to Vancouver, you know, like that. So.
Yeah, I think Vern has been increasingly focused in his angle that this is for the local area. That's his argument the whole time. This is for Oakland, or it's for Dubai.
No, I understand that. That is his mentality or his point of view.
Yeah.
But you know, like, let's say I'm going to join the Oakland program, but that one I can't do. Could I swap with somebody else? Is a thing that's probably
okay.
Or maybe there's a video makeup, but I think people are paying for in person here for.
Yeah. How are you getting on with the city leader or champion?
I have one in mind. She's right over there, but she's the executive in this area for Salesforce. But
right, yeah, very good. Have you spoken to her yet?
No.
Just in mind.
Just in mind.
Yeah.
She's my neighbor.
Yeah, very good. It's interesting.
I will see her soon enough on a walk or something with the dog. But
yeah, I had a catch up with a big dog in London last week. A guy called Maurice Ostro, who's the incoming global chair for leadership development for YPO. And he works very closely with well, obviously Salesforce are one of few global sponsors for YPO. So he has got some key contacts in London that he has with Salesforce. I don't know if there's anything you obviously connect back to someone that you've got in mind as well.
Yeah, I've coached her husband a little bit, and so I'm gonna ask and just see, is there some way to do it?
Yeah, I think Salesforce would be massive as well.
Yeah, I want to do it in their offices, but you know, people aren't thinking about being in offices lately.
Yeah,
around here anyway.
Well, hopefully by June of next year, people are a bit more.
By June, I think it'll be all right. But
yeah,
you know.
Okay. Oh, good. Daniel, how's everything going in Austin? I think Nicholas has just joined us as well from Mexico City.
Yeah, Nicholas here from Mexico, and Mariana with me in Monterrey. Sorry, in Austin. We're good. We haven't advanced much. We're closing the year, and we're focused on closing the year.
Okay.
Knowing the date is in June. I had a quick conversation with the guys from Canto Factory. They originally said, we're interested, come with a full plan. And I haven't built a full presentation and come back with them.
Okay.
And the case of Mexico City with Nicolas, we don't believe we need a champion, but probably we're thinking about a media partner.
Okay.
As an example, I write for the biggest magazine in Mexico called Expansión. So getting Expansión to be the media partner and then promoting it and stuff, it would be great.
Yeah.
So and venture capital or private equity funds, we know a lot of them. So we'll probably do the private equity and venture capital route in Mexico.
Yeah, because James's push last week was quite a good one, I thought, in terms of having a city champion, yes, but also having a private equity or a
Yes.
VC champion for your city as well, that giving
Yes.
them the first dibs, make this competitive for them as well. You've got a unique opportunity to be part of this. So I thought it was a really neat build around that.
Agree.
All right. And I think we've, I just said, John He's just finishing off, or Young He's just finishing off the brochure now for the online version for 20,000 Scaleups. So we'll have that out during the week, which is good.
Hey,
Okay.
did you updated the text or Vern? Because Vern asked me for some text. I sent him one. He didn't like it. Sent him another one. He was still not happy, and he said he was gonna
Between the
improve
two,
it.
yeah, between two, it's now he's 99% there.
All right, good to hear. Thank you for that.
Okay,
What text is that on, Neil and Daniel? What text?
it's just
So the
the
text explaining the online education on the brochure.
Okay.
just need a bit of being a bit more contemporary.
Yeah.
And are you doing a web version of that, like a landing page type thing?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, that'll be my
Supposedly they're gonna-
primary.
yeah, so
Yep.
that will all of that will have both hard copy and also on the website. You can then download the online brochure, download the global 20,000 Scaleups brochure, and now we've designed it out so that you can, if your local printer, take 80% of the 20,000 Scaleups, which should be the same, and then tailor it to the final 2 or 3 pages to your city. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we need to language translate.
I can't necessarily help in the language section.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that before we
Yeah,
print
good
it.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that as an action then, Nicholas, is to send that over. And then if you've got somebody who can translate, we can then do that. And this should just be print on demand. You can then just
Yeah.
take it wherever you need it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we will need the source file for the graphical
Yeah,
designer.
okay. I'll send the source file out for,
Yes.
as an action for the online brochure, for the overall Scaleups, as well as the online copy as well. And with that in mind, Mark Fenner, how are you getting on?
Getting on good. I think I've got my city partner. We're meeting again in a couple weeks, actually a week from Monday.
Good.
So 2 weeks from today. So I think it looks good. I think my question is, are we going to do an international press campaign behind this? Is there going to be, a launch, talk of the launch, the dates on an international basis is one question. And then my second question is, are we going to have a consistent, for lack of a better term, binder or materials that they will get as they make their way through the program? Or are we all locally going to put it together based on materials that we have? Obviously the scaling up tools, but then other supplementing tools as well.
Good question. So I think the benefit of having 7th, 8th, and 9th of June is that we can now do some significant PR around this as on a global basis. What that looks like, yeah, I've not got all the answers, Mark. In fact, I haven't got any answers in terms of what it specifically looks like. But I think in the coming weeks, we can then put some energy behind that in terms of how do we go about doing it? Who are the potential media partners? What does it look like in terms of who we're going to be touching? I think gives an opportunity to target, potential private equity companies as well, globally, VC companies, local cities. So it does give us a lot more leverage to do that. And then to your second point, what I've done in terms of the, am I sharing screen at the moment? Let me just bring this up while we're talking. Have you got any other questions, Mark? While I just bring up my Google share.
No, I think that's, I think those two are there is one other question. So Vern has been talking about, from a city partner perspective, having both an investor or somebody that represents the investment community, and then somebody that represents the companies or the CEOs. Do you want to expand on that?
What do you mean?
Well, that came up in my meeting with Rick because, Vern had talked to him a little bit and said, hey, I think, we need somebody that's working the investment community. And then we also need somebody that's going to represent the companies through EO, YPO,
yes,
et cetera. So that was the first I had heard. I didn't know if that came out of what James covered the week before.
It did.
So is there a new term we're going to have? Are we going to have investor, city partner, company, city partner, or?
I think if we use the term city champion is like the role. Is it Rick is going to play that role out?
That's right.
Yeah. And I think where we have an investor champion as well, just using that similar language, I haven't covered that off, but somebody who is going to be that it's either an investor champion or an investor partner for that city. That's probably just an idea that we can continue to work up, Mark. Okay.
Okay.
If I may add, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the city, the VC or the investment partner, last year we kind of called it a scout in the room. Therefore, the investor or the PE group looked there at what's happening with these 5, or in this case, our case, we had 6 companies. Who would they invest in after this material, the program was done? And that's how we leveraged James and I leveraged that idea.
Yeah. Did you give them any specific name?
Sorry?
Did you give them any specific name, like a champion or a?
No, I just called them a scout, investment scouts.
Yeah. Okay. I think
like we win in a hockey game or something.
Yeah. I think, Mark, just for the time being, is we've got a city champion and investor champion, and we'll see how that works for us. So can you see the screen now, Mark?
Yes.
So what I've done is set up on the Google Drive pretty much all the collateral you'll need to run it, in terms of from all the checklists, the joining instructions, running agendas. Everything's been rebranded to 20,000 scale-ups. All the commercials that have been updated recently, the marketing collateral, the brochures, all of that is there on there, the printing version, videos to accompany it. All that collateral is in one place. The presentations have been updated as well, so they're all branded in the right way now with Scaleup. So obviously you're going to take some of those presentations and make it your own for your examples and your case studies, but it's got most of the collateral that you require there, and then our own tools, that we'd have around that, and we'll continue to brand that up as 20,000 as well. Okay. So and everybody, once you've signed your city agreement, then you have access to the Google Drive, and as I said, we'll just keep that as up to date as we possibly can do. But thank you for that question. Let's go to I can't remember if you're in Barcelona or Madrid, Luis.
Hi. Oh, yeah. I'm just doing prescriptions in both cities at the same time, because you don't know which one will be the first one. Yeah. In this moment, I'm doing prescriptions, and one of the questions they come up is what about the master in Harvard? What does it mean? Do we have any kind of program? Do we have any kind of? They ask a lot about this. The prospections I have to the people who can help me to find out the real companies. Yeah. We are not going directly still to the companies. We are just still going directly to the people who knows a lot of companies, or they go institutions or VCs or whatever it is. And we are not still. I'm not going directly to offer the program to any specific company, not yet.
So the idea with Harvard is that at the end of the 12 months, it is a great opportunity for those CEOs that have completed the program to come together for a weekend of learning. The dean of the tech college is a friend of Vern's, so he'd be leading that. And then over those 2 days of learning, at the end of that, each participating CEO comes out with a master's certificate. Exactly what that looks like as a piece of paper, I don't know, but I imagine it'll have Harvard on it as well. So this is important because it's not just in terms of a sort of good differentiator, but it also starts to build out that alumni of people who've been through the program as well. Now, it does need to come with a government health warning because this has changed slightly. It was there due to be the kickoff. It was going to be at Harvard. Timings now means it's likely to be towards the end of the program. But that's quite nice. You've actually, I couldn't quite work out how you're going to get a certificate if you actually haven't been through the whole program. So that's designed to be at the end of the program. And it's probably easier now that if we're all starting in June of 2022, that the first people passing out will be in the fall of 2023.
Yeah.
Which is I've never been to Harvard, but most people say the fall is a beautiful time to go to Harvard. So
yeah, what I thought always would be the networking is the strongest situation of all of that, no? To the Harvard,
I think so.
No? That
Yeah.
all the other all the other CEOs from other cities, they meet all together, no?
Yeah.
And great incentive for them to graduate. If
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
of course.
graduate
Yeah,
from
yeah,
program, they
yeah.
cannot come to Harvard.
This is also this is also true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Let me go back, Neil, if you allow me,
course.
what Mark
Yeah, thank
said
you.
at the beginning. I proposed to Vern, and he liked the idea, that we do early next year a webinar promoting the 20,000 Scaleups.
Yeah.
That he promotes to his database, I'll promote to the growth of his database. We'll present the program in 15 minutes, and then we show the 20 cities and said, hey, if you're in these 20 cities, this is your champion, email them or whatever, email here.
Yeah.
And promote, like let's do a big brand kickoff launch.
Daniel,
And that will
Jake
promote
Cowbell,
everything.
that's great.
Yeah, very like the idea. So he's in favor of, we need to put dates, and when's the right time to start kicking it off?
Yeah. And I didn't realize that Cameron, his son, is also working in the digital world as well at the moment. So I caught up with Cameron for a meal on Thursday night in London. It was wonderful to see him. Yeah, he's got some real talent when it comes to videoing as well. You probably knew that already, Daniel. Daniel,
Yeah, he does.
Is that an action you're going to take forward then?
Yes, I haven't nailed down for the webinar, but
Okay.
I did have to send. I need to send dates to Vern today.
Okay.
About webinars the first quarter. I
Yeah.
will include it on the list to have on the first quarter of next year at 20,000 Scaleups kickoff.
Yeah, and I think that again, it's not always been our strongest point is marketing. So I think having a concerted thinking process through the spring of next year around really solid marketing, building up the brand, getting webinars out there, getting another video that might be we can use specifically for investors, and then how they want to get on board. I think another video as well specifically for cities, so not for entrepreneurs, but why a city should be.
Neil, I think that's an amazing idea. We should have Vern record like a 3-minute video for cities, for investors, for city champions, and get 5 videos so we could use them accordingly. I love that idea.
Yeah, and maybe there's like the YPO as well. There's again different communities. Let's leverage his time. If he's doing one for 3 minutes, so let's get 4 or 5 in there that we can then use for different audiences. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be happy to run with that. Mariana, remind me of it, please, and I'll be happy to run with that.
Okay, I'll drop you a note just to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll coordinate the webinar with Vern on the first quarter.
Fantastic. Oh, get some energy now, which is good. Let's go back up to Karine. And Karine's got her hand up. So Karine, how are you?
Yeah, good. How about you? A quick question. Actually, if we get a participating company, have you set a limit of the number of leadership team members that will attend the workshops?
So part of the limit from what I did in London was the size of the room.
Okay.
I actually didn't I had one organization who had team members in Slovakia and also in London, and they wanted to bring about 13 in total. That was fine as far as I could. They had tables in the room, and they were keen to join the program. It was the same amount of time, from that perspective. But I think you'll find most organizations, if I look at the averages, we had about 6 or 7 from most companies. Some might have 4, 5, others have 8 or 9. Okay.
One of the questions that I have been asked is what would be the advantage of going through this program or going through the regular coaching, individual, company coaching? And my answer to that was, of course, the Harvard certificate at the end, the masterminding that goes with such groups, because you get the peer coaching experience, and the global movement, being part of something global. So would that answer that, or would you have any further answers to such questions?
Well, just as I do in the forum, I just pass this around the group now to see what the other guys think.
Okay.
Is there some of the USPs of what we're doing and our proposition. So Has anyone else got some feedback or any sort of builds on what Karim's been talking about, why this proposition is over and above the normal program we'd offer?
I'll just add mine is, to me, I'm a Vistage chair. And, the thing I do like about the peer groups is that you do get that cross-pollination of ideas. One of the things that I like is if you have teams that people think aren't exactly the strongest, it's nice to be able to have the cross-pollination from all the other teams that are coming together. So to me, that's one of the big advantages.
Thanks, Dale.
Yeah, I think I'm positioning this as phase one. So it's just part of the process of getting involved in me is that you go through this program and then coaching would come out of that.
Okay.
Very positive.
It seems to me this program is for people who want learning more than they want somebody facilitating their planning. Maybe they already have that, but they like the learning aspect. And they want to do, and they see the value in learning alongside others to expand the learnings, to be less inwardly focused, less myopic, broader perspective by hearing others, right?
Very good. Very good. I think, again, the best way of getting a real answer is to maybe speak to people who've been on the program over the last 3 years. That's another nice build, actually, is to ask those people. I mean, I did the first couple, as testimonials, but I think, Karim, there's probably a better question to ask around what Bill's just been speaking about and why they get real benefit about joining other organizations, because you could just do this on your own. So I think that's a really good push. So anything else from your perspective, Karim? Oh, are we not? Dale looks like you've changed from being in a car now to something slightly different. I know this is quite sort of relatively new for you, but where have you got to in San Diego so far?
Yeah, and not really just, as you know, I mean, I just signed up like a week or so ago, so really not anywhere that other than just kind of thinking about the timing. I appreciate that you guys have put timing out there. For me, I have a fair amount of interest with smaller companies who don't have big teams. And so I like the idea of being able to put them together and again, getting that cross-pollination across them. So that's where my head is. I think I have pent-up demand to do that pretty quickly. And I didn't want to do it as a full engagement. I just didn't see it as being a fit for me for a full engagement.
And I think Bill's always sort of reinforced this point as well. It's a very leveraged program as a coach. Given you your time commitments, and then you've obviously still, if to Mark's point, if people want then to embrace and sort of enlist you as their coach afterwards, that's great as well. Yeah, that's a great bonus from it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so well, great to see you on the call today.
Thank you.
I'm just going back through. I think Rick, I think you're on the call, and this is all for the first time. Any thoughts, Rick, from your perspective? Clearly, you and I will have a one-to-one, and then hopefully they'll give you much deeper understanding. But any first thoughts before we close out today?
No, I very much appreciate what Dale said regarding the Vistage approach, the peer group forum approach, which I think is an added value.
Yeah.
One of the things that caught my ear as you guys were talking was the fact that you're building a community, and the community could be global. And while the structure of the program seems to be local in nature, how is it possible to bring in that global perspective? Because I think that adds some additional learning and opportunities for us to build on.
Yeah, nice build. I think as it progresses, I think we'll be able to maybe offer some of these up into parts of the world that we never thought we'd ever really get to. On one hand, and also give other thought leaders an opportunity to contribute as well. For example, Alan Miltz, who wrote the Cash chapter, has always been very abundant with his time, to come and help out with some of the delivery as well.
Well, I was also thinking from a perspective of getting viewpoints from, say, from the UK with a US company, or from France with a US company, or whatever, so that they have, they're able to start to develop some of the, some insights on some of the challenges that others have, because, all things are in play right now, right?
Yeah, and I think obviously that what we talked about a few minutes ago about Harvard is going to be massive for a lot of companies. Let's say you're a CEO in London and you start to embark on a maybe a globalization strategy, or you think about exporting more, to be able to then cross-pollinate and meet up with CEOs in the US and maybe give them some ideas about growing out to the US or growing out to Russia or into India or wherever it is, I think will be significant. But I think the more that we will do as we evolve the program to cross-pollinate, to bring in ideas, as well as give people confidence that actually we're in a global planet now, you can do business just outside your local area, could be really significant, Rick.
Well, so I guess
I'm sorry, Dale. I think one of the ways to get to this globalization is there is a very easy way. Now that you have decided that to start all within the same month of June, is to share the names of all the people around the world, the CEOs and the companies that are participating, and encourage them to get in touch with each other. And this is the format of every MBA around the world. That is where I have done my MBA at INSEAD. Yeah. The biggest added value is the alumni network. And I know wherever I am in the world, I could contact any alumni that has done through the program, and I could get this doors open, whatever. So this could get them the same exposure international through the alumni network. And it's very easy to implement.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I guess the question I have is are we, or is anybody doing it virtual?
Not yet.
Donald is.
I'm doing a version of the Scale Up 20th Style Scale Up. I've been doing this for 13 years now, the similar model. So I'm doing the model virtual and globally.
Okay.
But one thing, the idea of the 20,000 scale-ups is precisely the local. So we're trying to have the partnerships with the cities and the champions and all that. We do a lot of programs globally, but the importance of this one is the local. And I believe it should be local if we come to this. So they will have the experience of a local with the support of the global.
Yeah, and I think because we've been talking about our vision over time is for cities to be reaching out to us and say, how on earth can we have a 20,000 scale-ups in our city? What do we need to do? What is it? And I think James, well, I'm meeting up with James in a few weeks in Dubai, and just being able to be quite clever in the way he's played Dubai and Abu Dhabi off. You know a bit more about this than I do, Kareem, but this notion of a bit of scarcity, I wouldn't be surprised if he probably ends up doing in both cities. But that notion of how do we bring this program into our city? That might take us a few years. It will take us a few years to get to that place, but we can certainly aspire to that. I think I've covered everyone. Is Eugene still on the call? No, Eugene's not on the call anymore. Alrighty. So thanks again for your energy today. These calls are designed, just keep everyone updated, but increasingly, as we've done today, is to start as a catalyst for ideas. Be it Kareem's idea about how do we create, alumni and get everybody who joins in June to be able to be visible to one another, to how do we get some really empowering videos to do that, to just, as we spoke about, refining what our value proposition is. Why should people come and join the program, which is each time gets an iteration to make it better. So thank you very much for your updates today. Thank you, Daniel. I've just seen you come in and go out again. Next call in 2 weeks.
Packing.
All righty. 2 weeks time. Thanks everyone again. Rick, I'll be in touch with you. Don, can you just stay on for a sec after the call? That'd be great. Thanks everyone.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Neil.
Bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey, Neil, just as I go, I
Yeah.
think the thing for me is going to be scheduling the whole year.
Okay.
I'm going to schedule out my dates and start to think about venues and then start to think about the role of